Hello, Stefania. Welcome to Fun Fresh Friday. Yay!
Everybody, welcome. Hello, hello.
Welcome, welcome. Did it seem to you that Friday came like it was a long time for Friday to get here? To me, it did.
Did it? Oh, I don't know. I can't say I had the same feeling. I feel like it was like 2 days ago. It went super fast for me. I'm like super, yeah, I'm super racing. I feel like
Ah,
I'm in Grand Prix mode. We've got the Grand Prix here in Melbourne.
the what?
The Grand Prix, the Motor Grand Prix.
What is that?
Motor car racing
Oh.
in
Uh,
Melbourne this
oh,
weekend.
nice.
Actually, this weekend because we have a long weekend, and it's usually the long weekend. So I think that's everyone's, and it's a beautiful weather, and people are out, and everything's buzzing, and people are
Mm.
racing around to get things done. I guess.
Oh, well, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes. You have not heard of the Melbourne Grand Prix motor racing? Jeff probably has. Is he into cars?
Yeah, but but not really.
Not okay, okay.
Yeah, not
That's okay.
really.
Not everybody is into it. I can't say I've ever been. I've watched it on TV many. I've been to motorbike Grand Prix, like motorcycle Grand Prix. They're a lot of fun. But
Okay.
car racing, it's so loud. Like you
Yeah,
really need earplugs and everything like that. So it is a bit. You got to be a real lover of cars to be following the Grand Prix. And some people
yeah.
do. They follow them all around the world as they have their tours all around the world. Do you believe it?
Mm, not me.
Mm.
I, I, I,
Anyway,
I
anyway.
value my ears.
Yes, I think so. I think
Yeah.
so.
Well, anyway, yeah, that's fun. Welcome
Welcome.
again to Fun Fresh Friday. I do have a
Yeah.
shout out. I have a shout out to our name is Elmira Marshall. Today is her birthday. So I didn't
Ah,
get to call her, but I wanted to shout out, say happy birthday, Mother Marshall.
happy birthday.
What about you?
Shout out. Who do I have a shout out to Catherine. Catherine is a neighbor of mine. She's like two doors down, and
Oh,
started watching Fun Fresh Fridays. She thinks they're quite
awesome.
fun and interesting. So a shout out to Catherine.
Well,
Hi.
hello, Catherine, and welcome to Fun Fresh Friday. Thank you
Yes.
so much for watching and tuning in.
Hmm.
So I had a great conversation today. Somebody had called me and she said, it's a good friend of mine, and she said, you and your co-host had me cracking up. I was like, oh, really? When you started talking about the trolls.
Oh. Of course, we haven't said if you're watching live, hashtag live. If you're
Yes,
watching on a replay, hashtag replay. And if you're trolling, hashtag troll.
troll. We love you, trolls. We do. We really do. We really
Yes, yes.
do.
So the conversation went to the whole troll, hashtag troll, right?
Yes, it did. We were cracking up.
Oh, that's
So,
funny.
yeah. But yeah, so today's topic
Will fit in nicely.
nicely with the trolls. So this one was a request, actually. um, it was a request to talk about disrespect. You know
Mm.
what uh, where does it come from? What is it? What does it mean? So I was like, if you don't know what disrespect means, no, I'm playing. No, but it's a good topic because it's it depends on who you're talking to.
When you're talking about disrespect, you mean?
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, because I have a lot. to say about
Disrespect.
disrespect.
Mm.
So, what do you think about disrespect?
Well, I was just going to say, so you said you had a lot of things to say about disrespect, and I think you should start with that topic because you have got a lot of things to say about disrespect.
Well, first, I think we all know what disrespect means.
Mhm.
You know, to not have respect for someone's belief, opinion, culture, looks, how they speak, um, you know, things, whatever it is that they feel like they ha- did not have a respect. So, so now when we talk about that, you know, everybody has a different view of different things. So some people they feel like they're disrespected, and some people don't.
Right.
You know, like, that was it. That's all they said, and you felt like you were disrespected. You know, and then the person who said that they were disrespected gets more disrespected because a person said, "That's it. That's all they said," and you felt like you. So yeah, I do have a lot to say on the flip side and on the other side. You know, so it just depends. It depends on the person. Me, do I feel disrespected? No. Um, it's hard for me to feel like um, genuinely I feel like that I was disrespected. It's very seldom because
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Good thing I lip read.
right.
Okay.
I really don't. I
Mm.
I don't. Yeah. So what about you?
Well, it is an interesting topic, and it depends. I guess you're asking me this question now, so my answer is pretty much like you, Zanetta. Believe it or not, like I can see both sides, right? But do I feel disrespected at times? I'm like you. I really don't care anymore. I don't really worry about what other people say because everyone's going to have an opinion.
Hmm.
Everyone is going to have their say. They're going to judge. They're going to put their 2 cents in. Now, if
Hmm.
you're feeling disrespected by what's being said, that also is a good indication of is what that's bringing up for you. So it's obviously a trigger.
Right.
So what I've learned in my journey and my journey of healing and you know personal development is that if I am triggered, because it can happen that I can feel, I wouldn't say disrespected, but I'd feel some sort of some sort of way. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, saddened, rejected. But that's got to do with me, right?
Right.
So that person that has said something or done something, and in the past where I may have felt disrespected, right? Because yeah, I've felt those feelings or I've labeled them to be disrespect. To me now, it's only being it's very evident that that person has triggered something within me that has brought some emotion up, which now I say thank you because through that triggering, I was able to work through those emotions
Hmm.
that at the time felt like disrespect. So for me, it was like working through emotions of rejection, criticism, judgment.
Hmm.
And funny enough, it's really interesting when we feel a certain way about people or we see them as them disrespecting us,
Hmm.
rejecting us, or being mean, resentful, blah, 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 whatever it is that we're labeling it, It's usually something that is within us. So if we see it in that other person very clearly, and if that's really triggered us in a big, big way, I know
Mm-hmm.
pill to swallow, it is because it's 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 something within us that we need to look at. It's something within our own selves we need to heal, we need to work on, we need to
Mm-hmm.
release, we need to forgive, we need to, you know, there's a lot of things, a lot of areas, and I probably shouldn't say need because we shouldn't need to, but we can choose to
Mm-hmm.
work on those areas, work
Right.
on forgiveness, work on letting go, work on, loving ourselves more, building our self-confidence up. So, yeah, this feeling of disrespect, as we, so call it, and it really ruffles our feathers because that's what it does. How
Mm-hmm.
dare they? I can't believe they said that. Can you believe it? I don't deserve that. I've never done anything wrong to be treated disrespectfully like that. They're all things that we're feeling within ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
bringing up this whole disrespect thing. Now, of course, there's disrespect and there's disrespect. There's people that are intentionally go out to, you know, do mean things,
Right.
right? And I would say that, that's intentional. But there are people that may say things, and the person who's listening, or the person that they're talking to, which could be yourself, ourselves, our internal representation,
Mm-hmm.
the way we filter it, can
Mm-hmm.
come across as being disrespectful, whereas the way that they intended it for it to come across was like, oh, there's been a change, like I've changed my mind, or this is how I do things now, or no, I haven't included you because I didn't think you wanted to, or whatever the topic or subject may be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's it's quite a wide area, but I do think you know as I said before, going back to what is it that's coming up for you when we feel disrespected, and let's look at it as a way of feedback,
Mm-hmm.
a way of chunking down, breaking down within us what it is that we are feeling this certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And there you can actually take steps to start working on yourself. And whatever that person said that did come across feeling disrespectful, they're only a catalyst. They're there to actually give you a few
Right.
lessons, I
Mm-hmm.
believe, because that's exactly what's happened to me in the past. So hence why now, a bit like yourself, Zanetta, and I'm not sure if you were ever similar to me in the past, as like throwing your arms up in air and feeling disrespected. Maybe not to that extent, but feeling hurt, feeling in a way that does make you feel sad. They're just, I think they're just nuggets of feedback to help us grow,
Mm-hmm.
stretch us, um, learn new ways of coping with situations. Change our programming.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have
Mm-hmm.
problems, remember? We only have a program.
We only
So,
have, yeah.
yeah. And energy goes where attention goes. So if we're focusing on something, we're focusing on that whole disrespect thing, we're just going to get more of it. It's just like, because we're just so focused on everyone disrespecting us that we feel that everyone's against us and disrespecting us.
Mm.
So that's also another point to, really be mindful of, I think.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, of course, we have the other side, which there's cultural things, right? There's things that have been drummed into us
Mm-hmm.
because of our traditions, our background, our religion,
Mm-hmm.
our culture of, what Italians represent, what Filipinos represent. You know, we
Mm-hmm.
have our traditions, and there's no way as an Italian I would ever say something like that, you know, or
Right.
vice versa with a Filipino. So yeah, it makes a very good topic for conversation as far
Right.
as, you know, talking about disrespect. And I think that's a great, also a great topic, a table topic for two that, you know, starting to get to know each other, to talk
Mm-hmm.
about what, you know, what they call disrespectful, you know,
Right.
because let's talk about these things, because when you're getting to know someone on an intimate level, or just friends, you know, I don't know how deep you go with your friends, but let's talk intimate relationships. We want to know, you know, what are the deal breakers, what they call disrespectful, what I call disrespectful may not be what that other person is. But so you have a better understanding. And, you know, if you're really involved in this person, you like them, well, I'm not saying you're going to bend over backwards, but you can have a better understanding of
Right.
what their culture is, what their
Yeah.
traditions are, particularly if they are quite diverse in cultures. Let's say that.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Um, so we're talking about disrespect, and it is a broad topic. It is, but it's, even though it's a broad topic, it hits home. It's like a, you know, it's a sore spot, you
Yeah.
know, for a whole bunch of people. Um, and you know, I always play around with, yeah, with Kazaya and Jeff when they say something. I was like, oh, how disrespectful. Yeah, and they laugh, you know, and so I'm letting them know the way I'm responding is like, yeah, yeah, I know you meant it to be disrespectful, but this is how I'm going to respond to you. Oh, how disrespectful. Kind of a playful way. But here's my my thought on some things, especially when it comes to uh, hmm, it's a sticky subject. Okay,
Mm,
it's a
it always is.
very controversial, very sensitive area where I'm going to dive in.
Mm-hmm.
So, gender identity.
Mm,
A lot of them feel disrespected because of my profession. You know, I slip up. I will say, uh, um, you, her, she, he. Um, I don't say they. It's not natural for me to identify an individual as they. What did you say? You know, that's natural for me. Um, I, it doesn't match with my grammar or my vocabulary when I say, what did they say? Meaning you. So, you know, and so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and go in front of, before any disrespect is received, before they feel like they're being disrespected, I will let them know, listen, I don't mean any disrespect. So please excuse me now. Please forgive me now. If I do not, you know, if I do not address you as to how you would want to be addressed, you know, so you'll see on the Zoom calls now, you'll see on their profile now, they'll have she, her, hers, he, him, his, or, you know, so they'll have that identity. And
mm-hmm.
that's what, you know, the society is now. Some of them will put down he, she, them. So I'm like,
So
oh,
this is identity. This is, we're talking about identity here.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is how they like to be identified, correct?
Identified, correct. Yeah.
Right.
So some of them will feel like they're being disrespected. So here's my thing.
Mm,
Here's my argument in all of that. So you want me to respect your identity? That means respect goes both ways, right?
correct.
So they would have to respect my lack of training because I'm 55 years old. I have been talking to a male figure as sir, he, him.
Mm,
A female figure as ma'am, she, her. This is how I grew up. So respecting how my way of communicating should also be in consideration, not just me giving that, but also me receiving it as well.
sure.
What do you think?
Um, well, this is a whole taking it to a whole nother level because we're specifically talking about, this gender diversity, and how they want to be addressed, right? And I can fully respect that, that they want to be addressed like that. But they also need to educate us, right?
Right.
Because, like you said, for years we've been educated a certain way, and now all of a sudden, there's this diversity that they want to be acknowledged or identified a certain way. And you know take my mum for instance. She and we this actually happened in a store, a local store down the road from us, where we went into a those big beauty stores, but there's a pharmacy on the right down the end. I'm not sure if you have that here in America, but they have pharmacies within the big beauty stores. They sell
Mm-hmm.
everything. Yeah. And there was a gentleman that looked like and dressed very much like a female, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but you could sort of see that he was, or she was a she. I can't remember what way, but anyway, she identified this person as the opposite of what she was meant to, and yeah, he got really upset.
Mm-hmm.
He got really upset, and I mean, like, you're talking to an 85-year-old that is a bit confused because you're dressed one way and your facial features and makeup is another way, and there's this, and so there's no need to get upset about it. That's what I'm saying,
Right.
because they're acting quite defensive and feeling disrespected, right?
Right.
When really there's this transitional times we're going through, so everyone just needs to be hang on to just, hey, we made a mistake, or we don't know, and like there needs to be a bit more education about it, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. But like what I was saying, it's respect and is a two-way.
yes.
You know, so when they feel disrespected or they feel like that they haven't been respected in such a way, then the best way to do it is give. Oh,
Right.
I understand, but you can call me whatever it is.
Mm,
So that's why I said I go ahead of it. I go in front of it, and I'll say, listen, if I this is me, I'm gonna mistakenly call you her, she, whatever it is, but don't think that I'm disrespecting you. It's just that I'm so used to this and I'm not, I will try my best,
mm,
to do that, to acknowledge. But it goes both ways. What I'm trying to say is that you can't put me on accountability to address you a certain way and then you don't hold yourself accountable in how to address me a certain way. So it goes both ways. You can't force somebody to do something. You just can't.
No,
Just can't.
no. But see, I think you've had enough experience also that you go ahead of yourself, or
Hmm.
however you call it. You address the situation of what could happen beforehand because, you've either been caught out or, the sensitivity of, I
Well, it's the
guess.
nature of my job. My
Right.
job, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So, yeah, so it's the nature of my job. So, how do you identify? And I will have to write it down, But then I speak normal. So I'll just tell them, look, I'll mess up. I will mess up.
And how do they feel about that? They're cool with that?
Yes, they are. They are very cool with it. As long as you are ahead of it, then they're cool with it because then they know that you don't mean anything. You're letting them know I acknowledge you and I understand that you want to be addressed as such, but here's where I stand. Just like kids that are brought up to say sir and ma'am.
Mm,
The generations now, they don't say sir, ma'am. They don't say miss. They say your name. Hi, Zanetta. You little snot nose. Calling me what? No, but that's oh well, I don't react like that. I've seen people react like that.
mm,
And I would say, well, hello, but you can call me Miss Zanetta. So I'm
right.
letting them know how to address me, how I want to be addressed, and therefore they can respect that. And and that way the respect is mutual, so nobody gets disrespected. But so we had this neighbor. Gosh, um, she was in her 90s, and this was back in early 90s. So it was early 90s. This lady was in her 90s,
Mhm.
and my kids are African American, and she did not mean no disrespect. I'm serious. She did not mean no disrespect. It was because of her era. Her era, she called black people colored.
Mm,
Today, it's meant as a disrespect. That back then, that was the lingo, that was the language. So
right.
when she said, "Oh, you got some pretty colored children,"
Now,
thank
if
you.
you said that, but if you said that to a white person, would that be still disrespect? Because you could have a white person that has a nice color. You know
See,
what I
but
mean?
but
That's
it's not meant. Well, when you say colored, it's automatically understood that it's African American.
right. Okay.
Automatically understood. So if you say it to a white person, they'd be like, "What are you talking about?" I don't know what you talking about.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yes, same thing. Like what Natasha said, disrespect should not be assumed, right? So, it's a conversation. It's a opening a conversation, a dialogue. Like what you said earlier, it's a trigger inside of you. So you need to check you if you feel disrespected.
Mm,
So there's something going on, something brewing on the inside, and it just hit,
mm,
and all of a sudden,
mm.
yeah.
And it could also be a way to, cross-examine yourself as to where am I disrespecting others? or
Right.
myself. It may not even be others that you're disrespecting. You may be disrespecting yourself if that's
Right.
what we want to focus on, right? So, what is disrespect? Not looking after yourself, not taking care of yourself, not eating well. All that can be also looked at as disrespect,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely. It's like, when they say you're pointing at someone, three fingers are pointing back at you,
Right. Yeah. Look at
right?
those three because it's pointed back at you. Yeah. So you have to take a look at yourself and examine. There was a lot of things that we had to follow when uh, when we were in Afghanistan. So
Oh, yeah.
we couldn't go out as a female could not go out without a hijab because they men you know um, deemed it as disrespectful. Even women felt like it was disrespectful if a
Right.
woman did not have a hijab. So I mean, what's a hijab? It's a scarf around your head. What harm is it going to do for you? Really? I mean, seriously, what is it going to do? Not a thing. It's just a piece of cloth or a material to put over your head to show respect, and it's a give and take
Right.
kind of thing.
Which I
So
think they look beautiful in some cases, actually. I think some of them, just the floor, the fabrics they use and everything. I think you don't think so?
the fabric is beautiful, but not over my head.
Oh, okay. But, the Vogue magazine brought it out as the latest fashion, and all women would start wearing this, you know, hijab,
Not
or this.
me.
Not you, I know, but I'm just saying those that would follow a fashion,
Yeah, yeah,
and they're all following the fashion,
yeah.
it would just be accepted, right? It wouldn't be disrespectful.
No,
Or
it would. Yeah, it would. I mean, there's a lot of things that we do in the Philippines as well that is considered disrespectful if you don't do it. Like walking into somebody's home and keeping your shoes on.
right, yeah,
That
absolutely.
is so disrespectful.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Or even if, it's wet outside and you just come stomping in with wet shoes, because, you may be used to walking in with shoes or, whatever. Some people change into slippers, or people have slippers
Mhm.
for guests when they come. But even just coming in and, not wiping their shoes, or even asking, "Should I take my shoes off because they're a bit damp," or whatever. I think also that in some cultures can be, even in Western cultures, that can be a little bit disrespectful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it just like I said, it's a give and take. I mean, it's a broad topic, and like what I said, it was a request. Now let's shift gears. Let's shift.
Sound
Now
effect.
let's talk about the
Who do we have here?
we
Wayne.
have Wayne.
Hi, Wayne.
Welcome. Welcome back, Wayne. Hi,
Yeah,
ladies. Just trying to
you can
catch up. What's the topic today, please? Hopefully, not about my own personal love life. Unfortunately, Wayne, it is not about your personal love life. We are talking about disrespect. Um, what is it, and how do we handle it, and what do we deem as disrespectful? So, we're gonna change gears. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna
Just before you
switch.
do, guess who says hello? We have Wendy.
Oh, Wendy. Hi, Wendy. Welcome, welcome. Uh-oh, I picked the wrong one. There we go. Good evening, beautiful ladies. Good evening, gorgeous.
Wendy.
All right. I feel disrespected can mean someone feels they have been robbed of something. But what? What are you taking from them? Okay, so she went in the direction that I was about to go. We're gonna shift gears. So what about those people that um, hmm, I see, Natasha, why you do that? That it's a family dynamic and also a friend dynamic. So it can be family or friends that just takes and takes and takes and takes from you.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, what or how do you view that? How would you view someone who just takes and takes and takes and takes from you? Takes your time, takes your energy, takes. We can go on with the take, take, take. So, what do you feel? What do you think about that? What is your.
Well,
And
I,
you
I,
guys can answer for those that are watching.
mm. Well, I think this is a great topic. I mean, this is a really interesting topic for those that feel, you know, they're being taken advantage of.
Mhm.
They're bending over backwards to please, and they're
Mhm.
feeling like um, they're just being used and abused and spat out.
Mhm. Uh-huh.
But,
Oh, there's a
but,
but.
there's
Oh
a big
my.
but.
Oh.
I believe, this is my point of view,
Mhm.
no one can take from you.
Mm.
No one can take from you unless you give them.
Mm.
Unless you give them.
Mhm.
And if we're talking about time, energy, um, unless they're stealing from you, like they're stealing money, like secretly, or they're stealing an object and you don't know about it, they're taking from you. But, we're talking about taking, you're giving this, you're giving that, and the people are take, 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 take.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, they're going to take because you're giving. You're giving. So you
Mm.
are giving and they're taking. And they
Mm.
have no barometer of measuring how much they're taking because they don't care. They like to take.
Hmm. They don't. Hmm.
Because they don't know. They think, well, Zanetta's always giving. We'll use you as an example. Zanetta's always giving,
Mm.
right? And the minute you stop giving, well, that's when you become the bad person
Oh.
because you are doing what you usually do and you've just mucked up the whole system. So that's what I've got to say about giving and taking. And we just have to take responsibility where we haven't been strong enough to set boundaries
Hmm.
or say no or not now.
Hmm.
I'll tell you when.
Hmm. Okay. Well, here's my take on that.
Okay.
Yes. Aren't those people called psychopaths? Hmm. Close.
What, the givers or the takers? What is she
the,
referring to?
the takers. I'm
Mm.
pretty sure the takers. So here's the here's my version. Yes, I do give. I do give a lot. I do. I really do. But I give a lot. I mean, always, because you
Mm.
use the word always. I always give. I do always give. There's a caveat to that. However, there's a comma. However, comma. I always give to those I know who are not takers.
Thank you very much. That's my
So,
point.
but I've learned that. I've learned, that
Right.
I don't give always, but I'll give. I'll give.
And there's
I
nothing wrong with giving. I mean, you
no,
you taught me
there's
that too, Zanetta. I mean, like
yeah.
very much like you, I was just like, yeah, kumbaya, remember? Let's hold hands, let's do kumbaya, and let me just give to you. Just let me
Yes,
give to you. Come on,
yes.
hold my hand, we'll do kumbaya and I'll give to you.
Oh my God, that's too funny. But yeah, that was you. That was most definitely you. Yes, you just wanted to. Let's all get along. Why can't we all get along? Just love each other. Yeah, but uh, here's what here's the other side of that is that when the person takes, they also have to take the responsibility of um, disrupting the individual. They have to take that responsibility. And even though that the person is a giver, that doesn't give them the okay to just take advantage. Oh, well, Stefania, she just wants to come by everybody, so therefore I'm going to do this. Stefania, can you? No, no. Now that is blatant disrespect. I'm saying it. That's just blatant disrespect. Oh, Teresa, welcome. It's been a while. We need to catch up.
Hi,
Thank
Teresa.
you for joining. So yeah, that's just disregard. That's disregarding your time, how valuable it is,
Mm-hmm.
disregarding your energy,
Mm-hmm.
which is the new. I like what you said. The new currency,
Yes.
and so yeah, they're not valuing it, so they need to be held responsible. They need to be accountable and called out that yeah, you are taking advantage, you know it, and you should be ashamed. So yeah, givers might give, that's their nature. That is
Mm.
their nature. The other person should also have the respect enough to know when to stop.
Okay. But,
Yeah. Oh
however,
gosh. Oh, here
I
we
have,
go. This is a good
however,
conversation now.
you're
We
right.
got a
And you
lot
know
of
what?
butts.
You're absolutely right. But when you're dealing with someone who is, um, as Natasha described, a psychopath,
Mhm.
does a psychopath have morals? Is a psychopath capable of, respecting your values and you know, your needs and not crossing the line?
So,
Is a psychopath or a narcissist or whatever you want to call
mhm.
this person that is totally, it's normal. Like to them, it may actually be very normal to be putting pressure and because think they think. I'm not saying that I'm not giving them. I'm doing the devil's advocate thing here, right? I'm just playing out what they think they're entitled to. That's all.
So here, um, um, and Natasha, I mean Nicole, hit it on the head. So, psychopaths, narcissists, whatever you know they have, we cannot give them a pass. because this is their nature. They can't help it. Yes, they can. Because there's someone in their family, there's someone in their life that they cannot pull this BS over.
Right.
Doesn't matter who it is, they just do it to someone that they know they can. So yeah, um, they're able to be held accountable. Yes. Nicole just said they are capable. They just don't want to.
Of course I don't want to.
Yeah,
That's that's what I'm saying. That's in their mind. That's exactly how they operate. That's exactly, and they'll only target people, exactly as you said, Zanetta, that will allow it to happen. They won't give someone, say for example, they target you. You know exactly how to set boundaries. You know exactly. They're not going to
I
pull
dare them.
right. You don't pull the wool over their eyes. So now, why isn't not happening with you, and yet it's happening with this person?
Well, it's because of certain things that are in the individual's upbringing, in
Mhm.
the individual's growth. Some of them haven't grown or have that maturity enough yet
Mm.
to, oh, yes, personality versus behavior. Yes, Charmaine, that's my beautiful niece. Thank you for joining in. So, yeah, it's once a person is fed up, that's when growth happens. Because you
Mhm.
know what pain is? Let me explain to you what pain is. And I hope that when I say this, it helps everyone. Pain is the result of something that you didn't want the result of. Do you understand that? So let me say this. Pain comes in when something happens and it's not the result that you intended or the result that you wanted. It is something else, something totally different. So that's when pain comes in. You have been offended, you have been disrespected, you have been um, hurt because it's not the result that you wanted. That's what pain is, regardless of what the situation is. Pain comes in of a result that you did not want. You didn't get selected. I'm hurt. I'm offended. How dare they not select me? I am the best candidate ever. That's the result. I'm breaking up with you. What?
Okay.
So that, so it's the result of something that you did not want. That's what pain is. So until the individual hits that pain point and say, you know what, I don't want this result anymore. You're not going to take advantage of me. I'm going to make my own result. So that's
Right.
when you grow. That's when people grow. That's
Absolutely. Which goes back to what I said in the beginning when I
Mhm.
said it's our responsibility. It's really up to us. We can't be looking at the taking, taking, taking. We have to put the stop to it. We have to say no more. And you're right. It has to get to that high level of pain threshold. I don't know. Everyone has different levels.
Yeah, they
For,
are. Yeah,
so
different.
there's some
Yeah,
that it takes them a lot longer to get
yeah.
to that. Others do it a lot quicker because their pain threshold is, at a different level. So yeah, it's really interesting. But when we break it down, wouldn't you say you are still responsible? No one can take from you.
That is true. Bottom line, are you responsible for your own emotions? Absolutely. Absolutely. When disrespect comes, um, it's either you have not grown or there is still some sore points in the past that you haven't grown out of, or it could also mean that this is my morals. This is where I draw the line. This is where, my personality hits. This is where my behavior. So I'm setting this boundary and I'm giving this uh, blueprint of who I am. Don't disrespect that. don't, don't do it. So there's certain things that I that triggers me, and that's little kids that don't talk right. It just your tone. I don't know who you think you're talking to, but no,
No, well,
yeah.
and that's the thing, especially in you know, today's times. I think tone definitely has changed from the tone times
Oh
we grew
yeah,
up.
yeah.
You know, we couldn't even we couldn't even open our mouths, let alone let a tone out.
Oh my goodness,
Do you know what I'm
no.
saying?
Oh yeah.
We'd have that look, and it's
Children
like,
are to be seen and not heard.
mm,
We've always heard that, children are to be seen, not heard. But now, oh no, let the children speak their mind. I mean, just today, my daughter was talking about a classmate being suspended because of her mouth. She told me what was said. I was like,
wow. But she was
ooh,
encouraged to speak her mind, right? So this is where there's this conflict happening too, right? Like
yeah.
we're encouraged to express ourselves but not where there's no uh, education behind that
There has
expressing
to be
stuff,
boundaries. There has
right?
to be boundaries. There's
Mm.
always boundaries with everything. You can't just come see, come saw everything. No, you don't. There's boundaries. You don't wear a bathing suit at a church. What are you doing? Well, I'm expressing myself. Go express yourself at the beach. See, these
Right.
people are trying to not sin. You making them no way. No, but there's boundaries. There's certain boundaries. You wouldn't show up in a two piece at your job.
No way. Even
What?
though,
So what makes that person do that? What makes that individual do that? What makes that person not show up at work with their two piece bathing suit or their speedo
mm,
unless their job is at the beach and it's appropriate? But at a corporate, please. Even
mm.
at a grocery store, even at the petrol. I got your terminology. Your petrol. You don't you
Petrol
don't
station.
you don't see them. You don't see the attendant with the speedo on.
Um, Wayne says, I'm going to share this one. Wayne says, American ladies are sexy.
Oh,
So
no.
they can flaunt it. If you got it, you got to
Yes.
flaunt
So, yeah. So what makes them stop? What makes them not do that? That means they have boundaries. That
it.
means
Mm.
they know they have something up here that tells them. So all of this. I'm gonna express myself, and I don't care. Yeah, you do. You do. Like what Natasha said, they know. They know. Yeah. So, what did Natasha? I mean, what did Nicole say? Ignoring a child's disrespect is the surest guarantee that right. Exactly. That is so true.
What she
Um,
say? Ignoring a child is, I missed that.
the child's disrespect is the
Mm,
surest guarantee that it will continue.
sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
There has to be boundaries with children, right? There has to be. I mean, it has to. There has to be some type of boundary. So, um, with the with my little 11-year-old here, I would ask her, "Did you already do this?" Yes. Oh,
Tone.
you, you better watch how you answer me. You When I ask you something and you have done it, don't be responding to me like you aggravated that I asked you. No. There's a way to answer and say, yes, mom, I already did it. Oh, and then get this. When I said, there's a way to answer and say, yes, mom, I already did it. Or yes, mom. And then when I ask her another question, she said, yes, mom. Don't be patronizing me. Now she got more in trouble for doing that. Hey, this child. No, no, no. You're going to learn how to respect and not be disrespectful because she's surrounded with disrespectful little ones.
Mm.
Yeah, that. Mm-mm. She would always say, "Mom, you couldn't be a teacher here. You got that right."
There'd be no students.
No,
Is that what she's saying?
no, no. I would definitely not be teaching. No, but if I was a teacher, I would show them what kindness is, what is respect, what
Mm.
is um, acknowledging somebody else looks like, not just this me, I'm important generation. I'm entitled. That's what it is. It's their
Yeah, it's an
entitlement.
entitlement, isn't it?
Hmm.
Um, I think too, what rings a bell to me, the words of, treat other people like you would like to be treated. I grew up with that, you know, treat others like you want to be treated. So when you reflect on that, it's very simple. Well, how would I
Very
feel?
simple. Yeah.
How would I feel if I treated someone else the way I just felt then? Like, so yeah, it's a very interesting one. It's a very broad topic. Um,
Very. Very.
why it's happening? Do we have control over it? Why we don't have control over it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Particularly with the younger generation. Um, yeah, I think my dad used to say, and my mum too, like in today's generation, like not like in his time, they had to do military. That was compulsory.
Mm-hmm.
Every man had to sit in and do their 2 years or whatever military, depends what their country of their service in their country was. And he, swore that was what brought, you know, a person to have respect and um, dignity and all that. Whereas in today's times, that's not compulsory. You know what I mean? So there's
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Now, some people might disagree with me, um, but if they're not getting it in their family, their environment, or the parents, they've separated, or, there's a lot of reasons. Mother can't do it on her own, the father can't do it on his own, then, as adults, young adults, I think that's a great service that the government can provide for this generation to really, I guess, give them some values that they probably missed out on in the earlier
Mm-hmm.
part. I don't know what other people think about that, but yeah, I kind of think about that and I say, yeah, that's true. You know, for some, it could really help them in a big way.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it, hmm.
Because like my parents saying, you know, they don't know what it's like to go without. They don't know what it's like to, you know, grow up in a war or, you know,
Yeah.
have rationed food, you know, because everything is just, it's available. You know, they want this, they want the latest iPhone, they want the latest this, they want the latest shoes, they want the latest clothes. I'm not sure if I ever shared with you this one story. When I was 12 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I've always looked older than my age, like when I was younger, and I was tall as well, and really, so I was 12 and I looked about 16, and I
Mm-hmm.
acted like I was 16
Oh, okay.
at 12. And I used to, you know, I started like discovering, you know, clothes and handbags and shoes and makeup and and I wanted this and I wanted that and I wanted this and I want mom buy me this, mom buy me that. And my mum said one day, she said, "What do you think?" There's an Italian version of, "Do you think money grows on on trees?" Like
Mm-hmm.
there's an Italian way of saying it, right? And she said, "If you want all these things,
Mm-hmm.
go and get a job and you'll see what it's like to sweat for your money."
Right.
Right. Yeah. And you know
Right.
what? She said, "No, I wasn't getting what I wanted." Straight up. So I went, "What? I can't have it? I'm going to
Oh,
go and get my own job.
you
I will
felt
go and get."
disrespected.
That's respected.
You felt
I
disrespected.
can't have that. So I did. At 12 and a half, I went out and got myself a part-time job. Yeah, selling shoes. And I remember when I went around to the, you know, the shopping center, a small mall that was around the corner, and Mr. Boyd was his name, and he said, "Okay." He rang me actually 2 weeks later. I left because back then, you know, you didn't need a resume, just name and phone number.
Mm-hmm.
He rings me 2 weeks later. My mum answers the phone. He says, "Can I speak to Stefania Pulau, please?" She goes, "What? Stefania, there's a man on the phone." And she's like, I take the phone and she's right there listening, right? She's like, "What's this man want?" And he says, "You know, do you still want the job?" And I said, "Yes." And I didn't even know where I was going. I said, "Which job?" Because I went to so many stores. And he goes, it was back then, it was called Speed Shoes. And I said, "Oh, okay." I get off the phone. I said, "Mom, I got the job. I got the job." She goes, "You what?" "I got the job." And I said, she said, "What? You got the job?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Right." So my dad used to take me and pick me up. I used to work Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday mornings. And she
Oh,
said to me,
wow.
I would have the job on one condition. I could take the job on one condition. I said, "What's the condition?" She says, "The money goes into a bank account and you don't touch it. You only get a small, this is how much you get." I said, "What? I this is the whole purpose of me having the job, right? To have money." But no,
Look,
she
this is the
taught
second
me.
time you felt disrespected.
It was so
Strike
funny.
two.
Oh, but I went to all that effort to get this job and I can't even have my own money. But it was the best thing she ever did for me because that's how I learned to save money. I bought my first car and, you know, I still had that
Wow.
little bit of money to play with, but there were boundaries. And I guess that's what taught me to have, you know, be able to handle money as an adult too. Because at 12 and a half, yeah, what do you know? You just like, got this money, you're going to spend it, right?
Right. Well, hold that thought because I have a comment on what you just said, but we're gonna bring in. Uh, oh, she
Who's,
has her real name on there now, not Nicole.
oh, okay.
Welcome, Natasha.
Natasha, how are you?
Uh-oh, we
I'm
can't
doing
hear you. Oh, okay, good.
you know.
Uh,
Breaking up.
Is there a delay?
yeah, there's a delay. It's like I'm watching, Chinese movie. They speak.
That means I need to talk to Cox in the morning because I got the.
So how art
But yeah,
thou?
great,
Good.
amazing, even living a life.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So what you think about disrespect?
Oh man, when it comes to like disrespect, first of all,
Is it
and
her mic?
disrespect comes from a
Yeah,
place.
you're kind of breaking up. Maybe put on a headset or something. That way there's no delay. So you bought a car at 12 and a half?
No, I didn't buy a car.
No.
I bought
you,
when I was
said, you said I bought a car. I was like, what?
no, because I had that job for 6 years after that. I kept that job. I worked
Wow.
right through high school, working and studying.
Wow. Awesome.
Am I better
Woo!
now?
Yes.
Call Cox in the morning and be like, "What's
Okay.
what I piece is that it's a learned behavior, right? We learn from our parents. We know that they were teaching us disrespect until, and someone kind of
You're still
tells
breaking
you, "Did
up.
you?"
You are still breaking
Okay,
up.
get out of that. Am I breaking up now?
Like I'm watching a Chinese movie.
Let me go.
Okay. Yeah. So Nicole or Natasha. I know her as Natasha, but her middle name is Nicole. But she's actually a therapist. So this is what she does as a living. Um, so yeah. But I don't consult her for mind stuff because I know her too
What
well.
what what therapist is what type of therapist is she?
Behavioral.
What behavioral therapist?
Yeah. Yeah. So
So this is
mental
right up
mental
her
health.
alley.
Mhm.
Yes. This
Yeah.
is right up her alley.
It is. It is. So I wanted to also invite her later in one of the segments that we have, the shows that we have, and talk a little bit more about mental health. Have her input and different things like that. So yeah, I don't talk to her about the things that we too close.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be
Absolutely.
like, girl, stop it. Yeah. So yeah, I think like what you said, the best thing that happened to you was that you were taught. You were taught, but you felt disrespected twice.
Mm.
Let's see. Let's see if is this a Chinese movie?
Am I in now? Is
It's
it
still
better?
a Chinese movie.
God.
See, if there were, people that are of that descent watching right now, they would feel disrespected. But that's how they make the movies. They would talk and then the voice comes, right?
Do you have a mobile? Maybe try it on a mobile, Nicole. Natasha, sorry.
No, it's Nicole.
It's both of them.
See, it's
It's both.
Nicole now.
She's
Yeah.
Nicole now, and Natasha
Yes.
on the
No.
on Facebook.
She Nicole now. She Nicole for real now.
Let me try.
Oh, can you do that again? Oh, it was almost in sync. I thought it was when she said, "Let me try that again."
It might be just a device.
Probably, probably.
Try some.
But yeah, so there's certain things that the adults are held accountable. You know, like what your mom did. If you want to do that, well then you buy it. You know, get a job, see how it feels. So when you have that, then you're able to grow and mature from that. Mm. I guess um, I'm just different because really I didn't have any good role models, none. So where do I get this? I'm very different. I'm very um, I don't know. I don't know where I get it from.
God.
Well, yeah, that, but I wasn't. Uh, I didn't have examples. I didn't. I would see someone else, and I'd be like, "Huh, that's interesting." I like the way they do things. I like the way they, kind of, and then I'll gravitate towards that. But outside of that, mm-mm. I didn't have like your mom saying, "Well, if you want to get you a job and see how it feels, and you'll have this job on one condition: you're gonna put it in the bank. You're not gonna spend it. You're gonna save it." Yeah. So, but what was really good about you and making that decision is staying and keeping that job instead of
Mhm.
saying, "Well, forget it. If I can't, if I'm working, I can't use that money." So, what made you continue to work knowing that you won't be able to get the money?
Because I knew that, the money was always there. It wasn't like I was never going to get the money. But I realized that, um, afterwards,
Hmm.
because, mum would take me to the bank
Hmm.
because back then we had books, bank books, passport books,
Hmm.
and, take my money to the bank and they'd drop it in and then I'd see that how my money was growing.
Mm.
So I guess my mum educated me how savings could actually happen if you did this and you did that. Um, so yeah, and I loved what I did. I loved working. I loved the social aspect of it. And but what actually happened after 3 months that I had the job, I didn't share this part with you. After 3 months, and I was on probation and I passed my probation and everything.
Hmm.
And Mr. Boyd one evening, one Thursday night, says to me, "Stefania, can you just step in my office before you start your shift?" And I went, "Office? That means I did something wrong."
Hmm.
And so he was only a short guy. He was like half my height. So I'm looking down and he's looking up at me. And he says, "Stefania, when you started working here, I forgot to get you to I forgot to ask you to bring in your birth certificate." And I just, because, you needed to be 16 to work. So I like looked at him, my eyes nearly popped out of my head and I just started crying. I just like, and I just said, "I'm not 16." And he looks at me and he goes, "I know." And then he looked at me and that was it. And I went, And then I said, so you want me to go home now? Like, this is it? Like, this is the end of my career? And, he says, no. He goes, I don't want you to go home. He said, you continue doing and being the person that you are. And he says, you still got the job. That's what he said to me.
Wow.
And I left his office skipping, because what had happened was my girlfriends at school at the time, I'd say, I got a part-time job and I'm doing this and I'm selling shoes and they dobbed on me. I don't know if you use that terminology, dobbing is like when they tell on you. They told,
Snitched.
they snitched on.
Snitches get stitches. That's what we say over here.
Right. And I kept my job. And even after at 18, they wanted me to continue and become a manager of the stores and everything. And I said, no, I have a different life path. But that's the story with my first part-time job.
Wow. That's
Nicole's back.
horrible. Yes. Let's see.
Can you? Am I?
Oh my God!
Try without your camera. I'll try without you because I really want to hear what you got to say, Nicole. Just take the camera off, maybe. Okay, talk now. No.
We don't hear anything. No. There's a cogwheel. If you look at the cogwheel and click on that, and then go to audio, maybe there's a disconnect. Maybe there's an audio. The input and the output needs to be. The audio input is probably not in sync because earlier mine was doing that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Put your camera on. Maybe that's
The AirPods.
Oh, there you go.
It actually worked. So now can you hear me now?
There's still a delay. Oh, you know what? You're right. It could be the AirPods. It definitely could be the AirPods. So sometimes it doesn't sync. I don't know. It's different. I have to memorize which one is which for each device. So I have issues with that. But we need this practice because we're going to invite you on a segment when we're going to be talking about mental health issues, trauma-based issues, and we would like to have the expert in the room, the SME, the subject matter expert. So we're going to have to try to figure this out. Oh, we can hear you now. Whatever you're doing.
And it's because it's like coming out of my ear speaker for some reason. So I'm holding it to my head like I'm talking to you guys on my phone.
Oh. Well, it's clear now.
so.
Okay. What was it that you needed me to say? So let's get it there.
Try your camera now. See if it should be synced. Because we can't be talking to N anymore,
We need to see you.
We can't be talking to N.
Okay. Am I matching?
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
That is yes.
For some reason, it only comes through I could hear it through the microphone, which is weird.
Huh.
On my phone, it doesn't come through like the speaker.
Oh wow, that's weird. That is weird.
Mm-hmm.
That is weird. We're gonna have to figure out on your laptop as well how it works. So
Yeah.
we'll do a dry run before we, so that we can hear what you
Oh yeah.
got to say.
So what was it that you wanted me to talk about so that I could say it before Cox cut me off or the phone want to act up or Jesus come down and say this is not good anymore or something. Give me something.
So what was your take on disrespect? You said it was a behavior.
Oh yeah. First I want to go back to like the kids, right? So
Hmm.
when it comes to kids and disrespect, I think that now parents are like trying to change what that actually means in terms of like kids being disrespectful and what like my grandmother's generation considered to be disrespectful, right? So my grandmother's generation kind of said what you said earlier in terms of kids are to be seen and not heard.
Hmm.
And I feel like that kids should still be seen, but to a boundary, to a fault almost. Kind of like, because I still don't want my kids to feel shushed or hushed because they can't express like, what is going on, but also know that there's a boundary of when I'm talking to my friend, we're having a conversation and it'd be polite of you to kind of say, hey, can I'm sorry to interrupt, because I couldn't even do that as a child. I couldn't just go to my parents and be like, sorry to interrupt, but is it all right if I go outside or is it all right if I have a snack? They'd be like, get out of here. Kids are and and it made me afraid for so long to even tell them anything, even in private.
Mm.
So I think that where the boundary piece come of it is in terms of like kids being disrespectful now is everyone is with this gentle parenting and trying to get everyone to kind of like come to a more like, oh yeah, I still want my kids to express themselves and they don't have to say yes ma'am and no ma'am anymore. But at the same time, no one's talking about tone. And
Mm.
then as soon as tone happened, then you want to slap your kid in the mouth. But you taught them this.
Mm-hmm.
You told them that it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when the disrespected is is disrespected, it's basically you now having the kid. They've learned this behavior obviously from you because you probably are talking to your mom this way.
Mm-hmm.
So now it comes back to, well, I see you doing this to grandma, so this is the way that I'm going to talk to you as well. And this is the way I'm going to talk to everybody else out in the street.
Right. Yeah. They have just now been given permission
Yes.
to talk like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And no one's really talking about hierarchy anymore.
Right.
We've kind of gotten out of this like way of that we don't speak to grandmother this way, we don't speak to mom this way, and you definitely don't speak to your boss this way. Because it's like now I'm expressing my feelings, so I'm going to go to work and like curse you out. No, you won't.
You will be fired.
No, you won't. Um, and I think that now disrespect is not having the consequence that it did before.
Mm.
So now people I'm not even just saying that it's a kid problem. I'm starting to see it in just like, because I'm a millennial, so I'm starting to see it in like the millennial era too. I'm like, who raised y'all? But then I think about it because we've now come to a point where we were shut down so much as kids. We kind of want to talk, and then we're like, well, it's going to come off however it's going to come off. And it's that truth telling, right? It's like, if I tell you the truth, you go take it however I give it to you.
Right.
No. Just because you're telling me the truth, I mean you have to be disrespectful.
Exactly.
That's what we're not gonna do.
Right. 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 We not going to do that just to make a point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So here's my question. Gosh, it just eluded me because I got the message, and I was gonna. Ah, dang it. Okay. So let's talk about the hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, with the expression with the kids now, even the millennials, um, what part of, I guess what I'm trying to get at is that, was it because the disrespect, during my era was overboard? The discipline was overboard. you know kids can't talk. They kids should be seen and not heard,
Mm-hmm.
or you're going to say yes ma'am, no ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Was it too overboard now? They're trying to correct.
Oh yeah, we're overcorrecting.
Over, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nobody's
speak
found
up.
that balance because I didn't get to talk. Now I want you to talk all over the place. Instead of
Mm,
there's a boundary on talking, like you don't go into a meeting and if one person at a time is presenting, you don't just start standing up and start talking in the middle of their
mhm,
presentation. Rude,
mhm.
first of all, disrespectful, secondly. So when you when you think about those particular things, it's the overcorrection of where people are taking disrespect now more than it is in terms of finding a real balance.
Mhm.
And we normally don't try to put the balance and the boundaries on it until it's not fun anymore. It's not cute anymore.
Right, right. So is it all? So here's where my mind kind of like, I don't know about you, Stefania, but my mind goes, okay, so you're teaching your kids this, that means you're like that.
Yes. Or or I want you to be who I wasn't.
Oh, oh.
Because I couldn't talk to my parents or I couldn't speak up for myself. Because remember, it goes back to speaking up for myself, no matter how rude it comes off. I couldn't speak up for myself. So you tell them, baby. You tell them what it is that they need to hear. And this, 11-year-old is cursing you out. What?
Right.
Mm.
Yeah,
Excuse me?
yeah. There was this there's this TikTok that I think it was 1 million views, and everybody's loving it and hearting it. And I'm like, they don't see that there's an issue here. 2-year old telling his dad, "I will give you a knuckle sandwich," and he was like, "Well, why are you gonna give me a knuckle sandwich? Because you're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. I'm gonna give you a knuckle sandwich." And he said, and then she said, "We're gonna have to do this again." And so the dad said, "Well, when we race, I'm gonna beat you again. Then you're just gonna give me a knuckle sandwich." Yes. I'm like, that's not cute.
Yeah.
That is not cute.
Not at all.
But yet, yeah, we're
People
harding.
celebrate it. People are acknowledging it and cheering it on. Like
Yeah.
as it shows on TikTok, people are just giving it lots of hearts and everything like that. So that's it's sad, really, isn't it? Because what are we setting ourselves up for? Like, what's this generation really going to be
I mean,
like?
I think it's still time enough to turn it around because you only know what you don't know, or I mean you only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know, right? So if no one is giving you the skills and the tools to be able to teach you and your kid and you teaching your kid these particular things of different levels of disrespect, or because I'm frustrated I'm going to give you a knuckle sandwich. To me, what I hear as a therapist is, y'all believe that somebody should get slapped around in there just because somebody doesn't listen to you. Like, even though it sounds cute, like, oh, a knuckle sandwich, what are you gonna do with me with that 5-inch hand? At the same time, at the same time, you're now giving that thought that I can hit you in the face if you don't listen to me. Now you go out in the streets and hit somebody in the face because they didn't listen to you. You're gonna get towed up.
Right?
It's always somebody bigger than you.
Always. Always.
You just need to run into that one that's gonna give it to you. That's gonna give you the real knuckle sandwich.
Yeah, true.
Right. Right.
That's gonna give you the real knuckle sandwich. So with that, there's this thought process that if I'm saying something to you and I'm frustrated now, that knuckle sandwich as that 2-year-old is going to turn into him and his girlfriend or him and his boyfriend, and he's going to end up slapping them. You didn't hear what I said? And then the knuckle sandwich now turns into domestic violence. And now you in the system for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because at 2 years old, it was cute to say that I was going to give you a knuckle sandwich because I'm frustrated.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And that's the kind of almost the poison of having these type of parenting skills go viral, because you kind of got to live up to it. Right? These people have moved beyond their thought process when they get older, but people still want to hear you say, "Oh, I'm frustrated. Give me a knuckle pulling you over in the street." Just to say it, right? So now this parent has put this out there. It is now viral.
Mm-hmm.
And is going to live with that kid for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And no one thinks about that.
Yeah, the video that went viral. Linda, listen, Linda. She's talking to her mom. She's telling her mom. Yes. You're not listening, Linda. Listen here, Linda. Linda, you call.
First of all, I had to give it to the kid. The art of negotiation is nice.
Okay,
I was
yeah.
like, please nurture that kid in a way of that they can use that to like get other businesses money. Because obviously you know how to negotiate.
Right.
At the same time, I don't think you negotiate with mommy when you have done something. There should be, like, I do believe that parents should have a back and forth with their kids, because like I said, there's that people are doing like this overcorrection. That's definitely a prime example of overcorrection. So there should be a dialogue and a back and forth with what's going on, because soon as obviously he lied about something. So a lot of times people lie in fear. So finding out like what it is that you did, and let's talk about it, but we're not negotiating on it. It's going to be more of a compromise.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
negotiating is aggressive.
Oh.
And compromising is let's both come to something that works for the both of us. And my man's was negotiating. Listen. Like she's trying to talk. Listen. No. Listen. That's negotiating. I think about that when I'm at a car dealership. I'm negotiating with you. Listen, sir, you're going to take 10,000 off. I don't care if you got to feed your kids later. Take 10,000 off. That's where negotiating is. Compromising is, okay, how can you still keep your job, but I can still get this car for cheaper?
You know what? I'm gonna thank you, because I have a mediation coming up, and I'm gonna shift my thought process, because we're under negotiation. So if I, yeah, okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Negotiation is I mean, it was used in a bullying tactic anyway. So with that, that's why in relationships they say don't negotiate with your partner, compromise with your partner, because it's a more gentler way of both of you guys coming where it works for the both of you. Negotiation is you screaming to each other on why yours should work and theirs shouldn't. So if you think about like in a court system, right? You're negotiating in the courtroom. It's two lawyers yelling at each other about why their particular client needs this more than the other. You negotiate on Wall Street. You negotiate on the racetrack. You negotiate in places where you want to bully into the decision being made, but you compromise for harmony.
Well, what do you think about that, Stefania? When it
Yeah.
comes to a relationship?
Well, I think it applies the same thing, isn't it? It's, you're stating what it is that what are your deal breakers, what aren't your deal breakers. And I think these are all, and probably Nicole might agree with me, these are things that need to be spoken about, very clearly and upfront. So there's no surprises afterwards. There's no disappointment. There's no feeling of disrespect.
Mm.
Yep. Because when you're not being heard, you're going to negotiate, because now I got to yell at you for it. So that disrespect in me now, I like going back to the car dealership thing. I feel disrespected that you're trying to bump this car price up and you can give it to me cheaper.
Wow.
So we're going to go in and negotiate this, not come to a compromise on how can we help each other.
That's good. That's really good. So I got an arsenal now.
You're welcome.
Yes, I now have an arsenal. And yeah, I'm going to negotiate until I get to the hour that I want because I'm being paid hourly.
Yeah.
And then transition. Oh, I've made this much. Okay, I'm good. We're now gonna compromise. No, we're gonna come here and we're gonna compromise. Give and take. Come at the table. Because I already got mine.
And I mean, and that's a really good example. You negotiate job, like you negotiate price of how much you're worth at a job. Because you're telling them, listen, this is how much I'm worth. Take it or leave it. Pretty much is what you're saying.
Right.
Take it or leave it. Compromising is you sliding a number over, they slide another number over, you slide another, and it's like in the middle, and you're like, I can do that.
That's nice. That's good. It's really good. So yeah, we're gonna have to have you over on the next segment, so you can.
Just let me know.
Give her enough time.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for even allowing me to come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anytime you want to talk about trauma is my jam. I mean, I know other people out there like trauma is your jam, but as a therapist, trauma is my jam.
Okay. Yeah. We will
because
definitely.
it's definitely a space and a place for healing when it comes to trauma. And I work on pathology. So I reach all the way back to your great grandma and how she treated everybody and all the way to you. And how are you paying that trauma forward?
Oh, that's a good topic, Stefania. How are you trauma? How are you paying it forward?
Oh yeah, it's not like in the drive-through line where you tell it, hey, I want to pay for theirs behind me. That's what you're doing with your trauma. I'm gonna hand you a little bit of my trauma, and could you hand it back to the people behind me?
Wow.
So I'm stopping that piece of it in terms of like wanting to pay it forward. We're no longer doing that.
Wow. Yeah, that's something that you don't want to pay for.
But we do. We do.
Yeah.
We do it each and every time. One of my favorite things that I see people do is we've all heard the saying, hurt people, right? And the thing is that I always tell people, even when you have been cut so deep and you're now not bleeding profusely all over everyone, sometimes you could be triggered by something and it'll be a small little paper cut. And when you're triggered by it, even when you're healed, you take that paper cut and you try to squeeze it on them. Let me see how much I can like get at it. Hold on, let me just see how much it is that I can get out. And now you flinking it around the room, and you got these small, tiny, blood splatters all over the place. And that's what we do with our trauma, even in the times when we healed. When if you get a paper cut, normally we would, all right, that's over.
Wow.
It's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
Great way.
Yeah.
Well, next week, the week after, let's have Nicole on.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about trauma.
Yes.
Jan.
Trauma.
We can definitely do that.
All right.
I'm going to think of a cool title. Are you spreading trauma on your bread like jam?
Yeah. Are you making trauma and peanut butter sandwiches?
Languages, yeah. I was going to say that too. Trauma
Oh my God, that is so funny.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. Are you spreading it like jam? Let's spread trauma like jam. Or not. All right. So thank you so much. We are almost 2 hours. Yes. So we're gonna. This was enjoyable. This was really good. Whoever that one person that's still watching, still live, thank you. But yes. So close us out. Thank you, Nicole, for joining us. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your, extra expertise, your SME, subject matter expert on that.
And thank you. Hashtag trolling. So just so that's, we still keeping up with that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Thanks,
most
Nicole.
definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Stefania, we'll go ahead and
Yes, wrap it up. We will wrap it up. It's nearly 2 hours. So we just want to say thank you to everybody that has joined in for today.
Yes.
And for those of you that are still watching, and those of you that are still watching but are trolling,
Hashtag trolling.
We love you. We love you.
We love
and we want to say that we have Nicole on next week. Hopefully, you're confirmed. I guess come and join us because we're going to be talking about more interesting topics around trauma and whether we're spreading it like jam and sharing the sandwiches around.
Having a picnic.
Having a picnic now. That's it. Yes. And Zanetta, as always, what do? We send everybody lots of
love and passion.
Bye for now.
Time.